Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard, presented by RDSE, and I'm your host, Michael Lyons. And the NBA season is officially back, and it is already crazy. I mean, first night, we had a double overtime game. Luka Doncic dropping 43, and then it gets a little crazy after that. We will cover it really soon, but this NBA season is going to be amazing. It is going to be one of the best NBA seasons in a long time, and I am so happy to be covering it all year long. So if you enjoy the content, if you like listening to me speak, please make sure tune in every Friday. Go check out the YouTube, whatever. Make sure that you check out because this NBA season is going to be crazy. And we're going to start it off with covering the biggest piece of news in a long time in the NBA, and that is Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, and like 12 other NBA players and former coaches and current coaches and players. All this is crazy that's going on right now. So many different moving pieces in this, and what I'm going to just preface from the start is I'm not going to believe that anybody is guilty or not guilty until it actually comes out, whether they are or not. Now, as many of you probably know, Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and Damon Jones, Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, Terry Rozier, a player for the Miami Heat right now, and Damon Jones, a former player and an assistant coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers, all were arrested Wednesday morning or Thursday morning. I don't remember. It came out yesterday, and it's just so crazy. All with ties to gambling and sports betting and illegal poker games connected with the mafia. It's all crazy right now what's going on, and hopefully if they are guilty of doing all these things, they get proven guilty. I will say that no matter who it is, and if they aren't guilty, I will side with the player. If they get proven that they are not guilty for it, I'm going to agree. Now, Malik Beasley got brought back up. Jonte Porter got brought back up. So it's really crazy right now in the NBA. I mean, all of this sounds like a movie because what I read from ESPN and NBC Sports that Chauncey Billups was a part of the illegal poker games and rigged poker games, and how he was used as like a lure to bring in regular people, victims as people would call them, because they were getting scammed out of millions of dollars. They would put up Chauncey Billups or other players, and they even used the word celebrities in the wording from what I read. So we'll see what this breaks into and how large it really is. And they would bring these regular day people, victims, onto the poker table where they would have x-ray tables where they could see from underneath and look at the cards. All of it is just so crazy. Glasses, I assume they had those meta glasses to help them cheat somehow. I don't even know. All of it is just so crazy. And Terry Rozier, obviously, what it's looking like right now for him is that it's going to be very difficult to prove that he isn't guilty. Now, like I said, I'm not going to state my opinion if he's guilty or not. All I'm just going to say is I'm going to give you the details. Terry Rozier, a game in 2023, I believe it was in about March, maybe a little bit sooner than that, there was a very increased bet on his under. Like, it was like $12,000 of bets on his unders. And then Terry Rozier that game only played 10 minutes and then came out with an injury. Now, it looks fishy. Now they're saying that the money was delivered to his home, all that. I don't really know all the details, and it's crazy. I don't think all the details will ever come out. I want to know all the NBA players and coaches that are involved in it. And personally, there's probably more than 13, but at this point right now, there's 13 former players and coaches involved. Damon Jones is a part of both the illegal poker games and the gambling. So we'll see what comes with that. I mean, connections with the mafia is nothing that you ever want happening to NBA players. Guys that, and I'm hoping that this isn't, because just making it seem like a movie even more is one thing I could see happening is Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, they get into gambling debt. And then the mafia is like, we want our money back. So either we're going to do these crazy things to you, or you're going to help us scam more money out of people. I hope that's not what it is. I hope they aren't threatened by the mafia, because that is something that could happen, and I'm not going to leave it out of the realm of possibilities. I'm not going to leave anything out of the realm of possibilities, because it's just so crazy what it already has turned into. We already saw Jonte Porter got banned from the NBA for life, so if Chauncey and Terry Rozier, if they get proven guilty, they're going to get banned from the NBA, and all the other people. And Chauncey Billups, who is he a Hall of Famer right now? Let me check this real quick. Chauncey Billups is in the Hall of Fame from 2024. There's a chance that he gets that gold jacket stripped from him. So, and if it is that they just did it because they want to earn more money, your NBA coaches and players, you make enough money to survive and thrive throughout your life. You get to play a kid's game and get paid millions of dollars for it. Be smarter with your money. Be smarter with your decisions. That's all I got to say for these younger athletes that are coming in. And this is something that I've been preaching for a long time. The NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, any professional sport, if you have kids watching your product, stop advertising gambling. Gambling is one of the worst things somebody could do in their life. You are always chasing the high of winning a huge bet. And most of the time, you're not getting that high. You're not getting to where you want to be. Stop chasing gambling. And these leagues, NBA, MLB, any of them, professional sports, stop advertising gambling. If gambling is illegal in states and is illegal for people under the age of 21 to gamble, or under the age of 18, whatever it is, stop advertising it, because you have millions of people that aren't able to gamble at their age or where they are in the United States or wherever they're watching from, and you're advertising it, making it seem like it's a good thing to do, and these people go out of their way to put bets down that never hit, and you're just losing money. Stop advertising gambling. It's the worst thing, and I understand it brings a lot of money to the NBA, NFL. Like, it's advertising. You're taking the money because you're getting you're advertising a product for 30 seconds, and you're getting millions of dollars for it. But you should have a moral obligation. If you wouldn't want your kid doing it, if you wouldn't want your kid gambling, Roger Goodell or Adam Silver, why are you pushing it to millions of people to gamble? I know people have free will. They can pick what they want to do. But when they see the NFL that they watch every Sunday, Thursday, and Monday, when they watch the NBA every single night of the day or every single night of the week push gambling and advertise gambling, that's just going to make people want to gamble. And I am one person that will always say I have never gambled in my life, and I never will gamble, because I don't believe in gambling. I believe it is one of the worst things you could do. And I believe the NBA, NFL, all the major sports leagues have a moral obligation to not push something that they wouldn't want their own kid doing. So that's my take on the whole Chauncey Billups, all this stuff going on right now in the NBA. Hopefully, we'll have more news on it next week so we can cover it a little bit more. Obviously, it's still early on in what has been given to the public. Obviously, the FBI has said that this has been a years-long investigation since, I believe, 2023, they said. So, and it's probably even further back than that. So, they've been working on it for a long time. I just don't think they want to push too much information out right now. And hopefully by next week, we will have even more information, word on what's going to happen with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier. Obviously, right now they are on leave from their NBA teams. Tiago Splitter, which Spurs legend Tiago Splitter, is going to be the interim head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. So that's going to be fun to watch. And I really was invested in how the Portland Trailblazers were going to look this year. I believe Chauncey Billups is a great coach, and I was invested in seeing what they were going to do this year, but it could just all go down the drain from the first moment of having him just miss after the first game. He could be done for the rest of the year, so we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully, everything goes smoothly. They get proven. They get proven that they're guilty or not guilty on whatever evidence they have. And at the end of the day, we have to respect the decision made by the judges in the NBA on what to do for these players. Now, we're going to move away from this little somber little big news going on right now in the NBA. And we're going to talk about the actual product that has already been on display in the first 3 nights of the NBA season. We've had 2 50-point games, 2 double overtime games, and it's already looking like it's going to be an amazing year. There's so many competitive teams. Now, obviously, it's really early, but, I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the reigning NBA champions, have been in 2 double overtime games to start the season. First was Game 1 of the NBA season entirely. That was the perfect sign of what is to come this year for the product that is on the NBA court, in that the first game of the entire NBA season was a double overtime game. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder came out on top. 1-point victory against the Houston Rockets. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander struggled in the first half. Chet Holmgren looked amazing in the first quarter and a half. He was dogging people. Shai finished the game with 35. I believe he had 11 going into the fourth quarter. And then with the fourth quarter plus the 2 overtimes, he finished the game with 35 points. Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace all did their part. Aaron Wiggins looked good off the bench. A.J. Mitchell, first 2 games, already looking like a 6th Man of the Year contender. 16 points in the first game, 26 points or 28 points in the second game in their other double overtime victory for the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant struggled a little bit throughout this game. Obviously, they went with that huge lineup of the smallest player being Amen Thompson at 6'7", playing the point guard. I think they struggled a little bit on the offensive end. The defensive end looked amazing in the first couple quarters. After that, it started to go away. Amen Thompson obviously left the game a little bit early. He didn't play in either of the overtimes, I believe, due to some calf cramps. Obviously, you'd like to see him finish out the game, but it's also the first game of the season. We've seen with calf injuries, calf soreness, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, they tore their Achilles off of it. Not saying that's what would have happened with Amen Thompson if he played, but I respect the decision of putting Amen Thompson on the bench and just finishing the game out. It's the first game of the season. You can make it up. But the biggest takeaway from this game, Alperen Şengün, 39 points in the first game of the NBA season. Double-double with 11 rebounds. I mean, Şengün was a monster throughout this game. I mean, like it felt like he couldn't miss for a while, and obviously he struggled on the defensive end a little bit. Chet Holmgren was really attacking him. Not Kevin Durant. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going at him. And, I mean, Şengün was doing hezzy pull-ups. I mean, Kevin Durant has been really in his bag leading this Houston Rockets team. Excited to see what's going to come from this. And then the second game of opening night was a 119-109 victory for the Golden State Warriors. Jimmy Butler really carrying the load throughout this game, which plenty of people always say Jimmy Butler doesn't care about the regular season. I'm one of those people that have said it. And to start this year, it looks like he really cares about the regular season and getting these wins. And he proved it in game one. 31 points, 16 for 16 from the free throw line. That is the biggest thing that you're going to see with Jimmy Butler on the Golden State Warriors. The amount of rim pressure he adds to this lineup that is very perimeter-centric. It doesn't really have too many guys that really can go out and attack the hoop. Jimmy Butler can, and he's going to get to the free throw line. He's going to average 8+ free throws a game if I had to guess this year. Maybe a little bit lower because obviously it's going to dip, but 16 free throws in the first game. And shout out to Jonathan Kuminga. Obviously the biggest talking point of this whole offseason was Jonathan Kuminga, mixed relationship with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr doesn't really like Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga doesn't really feel like he's being used properly in Golden State. Comes out game one, 17 points, 6 for 11 shooting, was a catalyst in the third and fourth quarter to help this Golden State Warriors team win against the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Warriors were using Jonathan Kuminga as a primary defender on Luka Doncic throughout this game, which felt interesting. Draymond Green obviously had a lot of time on Luka Doncic as well, but Jonathan Kuminga spent a lot of this game guarding Luka Doncic, and I think the Warriors have been talking about moving on from Jonathan Kuminga. Obviously, they signed that contract because they didn't want to give him up for free. They want to look to trade him, get him in a position that he feels like he deserves. And the best way to get that value up, prove to Steve Kerr that you need to be on the court, is playing amazing defense. And if he continues to play like he did in the first two games, obviously game two he struggled a little bit more, I think this Golden State Warriors team could hold on to him for another year and give him a contract that he feels that he is worth. Al Horford gave them some solid veteran minutes off the bench. Will Richard looked really good in the first two games, a rookie out of Florida. It just kind of fits with what the Golden State Warriors are doing. Hustle guy, kind of feels like a Moses Moody at times. Flies around the court, knocks down some shots when he needs to, gets involved on the defensive end. He's not shying away from any matchups, so love to see it from Will Richard. And obviously the Los Angeles Lakers, without LeBron James, it was Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves throughout the whole game. Luka finished the game with 43 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Austin Reeves, 26 points, 9 assists. I mean, outside of them, one other person had double-digit points, and that was DeAndre Ayton with 10. I've been critical of DeAndre Ayton in his career because he is built like a true dominant center. He just doesn't have the drive and the will to be a dominant center in the NBA from what I have seen. And again, this is the perfect year to see what DeAndre Ayton is really worth to an NBA team. Obviously, he made the championship with the Phoenix Suns. He looked great throughout that Phoenix Suns run. But after that, he has not looked great. Obviously, Mikal Bridges has called him soft before. He missed a game in Portland due to snow. I mean, you really just question whether he really is a true basketball player at heart or what is going on. And this year is going to be really big for DeAndre Ayton. And it's arguably the easiest point in his career that he's had. He needs to just set really solid screens. He has the big, physical, wide body to set screens and just catch lobs from Luka Doncic. And obviously, DeAndre Ayton is not a guy that likes to roll all the way to the rim. He likes to do that 10 to 12-foot mid-range jump shot. That doesn't work with Luka Doncic. He needs a lob threat. Jackson Hayes is not a solid lob threat. He is a lob threat, but everything else Jackson Hayes does is not it's impactful, but it's not worth him being a starter in the NBA. DeAndre Ayton has all those intangibles. He just has to learn to roll all the way to the basket with Luka Doncic. We've seen Luka, he went to the NBA Finals. He went to the conference finals with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively as his centers. Two amazing lob threats. But we've also seen Luka Doncic struggle when he has a guy that likes to roll or pop to the three-point line or to a 10 to 12-foot mid-range shot in Kristaps Porzingis. The Dallas Mavericks, they made that huge move to get Kristaps. It didn't work out next to Luka Doncic. Now, obviously, Luka was a little bit younger, still really early in his NBA career. Now he's in his 7th or 8th year, and he's an MVP caliber player, so it's a little bit different. But I think if this Lakers team wants to go far, they need DeAndre Ayton to be a lob threat and just play into the role of being a pick-and-roll guy throughout the entire season. And obviously, they're going to need some other people to step up. Rui Hachimura, 9 points, 3 for 6 shooting. That's all right, but you need Rui to have average at least 10 or 12 to 15 points per game with LeBron James out. Austin Reeves did his part. Needs to shoot the ball a little bit better, but he did his part. Luka, he did his part. He was willing this team. And Marcus Smart looked terrible in this first game. I mean, he played 23 minutes, had 4 personal fouls, 9 points, 3 for 6 shooting. He almost tore Steph Curry's shoulder out of his socket. I mean, I get Marcus Smart has always been kind of that gritty guy that gets added on the defensive end, but be a little bit smarter. I think this Lakers team could go far. It just all depends really on DeAndre Ayton. Now, in today's episode, we are going to cover the top 5 rookie debuts and cover a little bit more of the NBA season as it is still so early. But we are going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. This has been Beyond the Scoreboard presented by RDSC, and I am your host, Michael Lyons. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard presented by RDSC, and I'm your host, Michael Lyons. And like I said, before we went to commercial break, we we're going to cover a little bit more of what happened in the NBA this week. Great, amazing first week in the NBA season, along with covering my top 5 rookie debuts in the first 3 days of the NBA season. Obviously, Wednesday night, we talked about the Tuesday night games. Wednesday night games came. First game of the night, the New York Knicks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. The battle of the two teams at the top of the Eastern Conference last year. And the New York Knicks came out on top. And Mike Brown's coaching debut for the New York Knicks was amazing. Obviously, this Knicks team dealing with some injuries. No Mitchell Robinson, but Ariel Hukporti, I mean, he didn't really light up the stat sheet. 2 points, 5 rebounds in 18 minutes, but he started and he held his ground and did an amazing job on the defensive end, guarding Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Now, obviously, this Cleveland Cavaliers team looked a little off to start the year. No Darius Garland, no Max Strus, so you had Sam Merrill and Jalen Tyson in the starting lineup, which along with not having DeAndre Hunter off the bench. So this Cleveland Cavaliers team, it's still very early. It's the first game they played, and they deserve a little bit of excuse. But their offense looked a little stagnant at times. I mean, there wasn't a lot of backdoor cuts out of this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Wasn't a lot of free-flowing offense, which they were really which made them such a dominant team last year and why they started the year off 15 or 17-0, and they were the top seed in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, they wanted to get Evan Mobley involved a lot more. That's what Kenny Atkinson has been preaching all offseason and in the preseason, that he wants to get Evan Mobley more involved on the offensive end. He shot 18 shots this game, 4 for 8 from the three-point line, but he only shot 4 shots at the rim, which for a guy that's 6'11", 7 foot tall, you don't want to see. You'd like to see him get to the basket a little bit more, but still early for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. For this New York Knicks team, Karl Anthony Towns was dealing with an injury. Jalen Brunson did his best and did his job to carry this New York Knicks team. Miles McBride looked great off the bench. Tyler Kolek looked great off the bench. 11-man rotation. Knicks fans this had to blow them away because with Tom Thibodeau, I mean, you were lucky if you got 8 people if you got 3 people off the bench and you did an 8-man rotation. This game, 11-man rotation with no Josh Hart, no Mitchell Robinson. So a lot of guys, Trey Jemison, Tyler Kolek, Landry Shamet played some minutes that maybe some people wouldn't have expected. But I think it was a great showing from this New York Knicks team in their first game under Mike Brown. And I love seeing Mike Brown on the sideline once again. I mean, he is an amazing coach. He deserves to be a coach in the NBA, and that's why I picked him to win Coach of the Year this year. I think he's going to be the first coach to win 3 Coach of the Years on 3 separate teams. But enough with this New York Knicks team. Some surprising games throughout the Wednesday night slate. Obviously, 12 games were on. You saw the Hornets kill the Brooklyn Nets, which wasn't really crazy. This Brooklyn Nets team, we're going to talk a little bit about one of their rookies in Yegor Demon because he is definitely on the top 5 rookie debuts for the 2025-2026 NBA season. And the Charlotte Hornets, Con Knippel, didn't make the top 5, but he was an honorable mention. I think it was a great showing from the Charlotte Hornets. They're going to show what they're going to do all season long. They're going to be a super fast-paced team. Ryan Kalkbrenner looked great, even though I'm not a big fan of Ryan Kalkbrenner. LaMelo Ball did his thing. Brandon Miller looked great. And, yeah, I mean, Tajon Salon had a 10-point game. People were calling him a bust after his rookie year, so we'll see. This Charlotte Hornets team is going to be fun to watch throughout this year, and expect to see a lot of high-scoring games from the Charlotte Hornets team. They kind of remind me a little bit of the Sacramento Kings from a couple of years ago, and they're going to be a super fast-paced team. They're going to score a lot of baskets. They're just not going to play a lot of defense, so we'll see what comes with that. Another game, Orlando Magic versus the Miami Heat. Orlando up won the game 125-121. Desmond Bane in his first official game with the Orlando Magic had a 23-point game. Franz 24. Paolo as well with a 24-point game. Jalen Suggs back on the court for the Orlando Magic. And yeah, it looked very good. A 125-point game for the Orlando Magic. If you're an Orlando Magic fan, you're excited to see what that offense is going to do this year. And obviously, they played the theme song last night, so that was super fun to see. First game of the season, and you play the theme song. Miami Heat, little bit of a rough game. Obviously, they're dealing with no Tyler Hero right now, so you saw a lot of minutes from Norman Powell. He showed what he can do, 28 points in 36 minutes. Davion Mitchell looked good, 16 points. Love Davion Mitchell. I'm always going to be praising Davion Mitchell because he is an amazing basketball player. Khalil Ware off the bench. Didn't really do much this game, but in my opinion, I'd like to see Khalil Ware in the starting lineup alongside Bam Adebayo. Hopefully, Spoelstra makes that move. Obviously, they just paid Nikola Jovic a pretty sizable contract, so they want to see what they can get out of him. Andrew Wiggins is obviously on a big contract, and you traded him for Jimmy Butler. I don't know. I would rather see this Miami Heat team with Bam and Khalil Ware on the court because, as we've seen, some of the best teams in the NBA go towards a too big lineup. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks when Mitchell Robinson is healthy. So I think this Miami Heat team would maybe look a little bit better. Maybe they will move towards it when Tyler Hero comes back, and they can run a lineup with Tyler Hero, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Bam, and Khalil Ware, so they have a little bit more offensive firepower and still have the defensive upside of Bam, Khalil Ware, and Andrew Wiggins. But that's personally what I'd like to see out of the Miami Heat. Pretty solid game to start the year for both teams. Next up, the Toronto Raptors with a 138-118 victory over the Atlanta Hawks. And I really think Darko Rajakovic is going to be in Coach of the Year conversation this year. I think this Toronto Raptors team could make a big jump. They pick up people 94 feet. They are going to be a tough defensive team to play against this year. And this Atlanta Hawks team, which me and a lot of people in the NBA world were saying had arguably the best offseason. You go out, you get Kristaps Porzingis, you get Luke Kennard, you get Nickeil Alexander-Walker. None of those guys really showed up for your first game. Nickeil Alexander-Walker shot 2 for 15, 1 for 5 from the three-point line, and Luke Kennard shot 2 for 7. Kristaps, solid game, 20 points in 26 minutes, but kind of got blown out of the water by the Toronto Raptors. And one thing I'm scared about with this Atlanta Hawks team is transition defense looked kind of rough. Obviously, this Raptors team is a faster-paced team with Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. All those guys kind of like to get out in transition, but Jakob Poeltl did get a steal at one point in this game and took it basically the length of the court and then threw a lob. So, would like to see the Hawks step up on the transition defense. But obviously, all this is taken with a grain of salt. It is the first game of the season for a lot of these teams. Next up, the Philadelphia 76ers with the 117-116 victory over the Boston Celtics. VJ Edgecombe, welcome to the NBA, sir. 13 for 26 from the field, 5 for 13 from the three-point line, 34 points. He's breaking rookie debut records. He has more rookie debut points than LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama, all those guys. I think the last person to score more points than him in their rookie debut was Lamar Odom. I mean, VJ just really showed that he was worth the 4th overall pick. And if you're a 76ers fan and you're looking at Joel Embiid didn't look good, only played 20 minutes this game, 4 points. Paul George obviously didn't play. Maybe this 76ers team goes in that youth direction, so we'll see what happens. Boston, obviously, it's going to be a tough year this year for the Boston Celtics, in my opinion. No Jason Tatum. You traded away Kristaps. You traded away Drew Holiday. Al Horford left. It's just Derek White and Jaylen Brown. They're going to be a competitive team, though. I think they're going to be in a lot of games this year. I don't think they're really ever going to get blown out, but I think they're going to struggle down the stretch of games to win against some of these higher-powered offensive units. But my boy Neemias Queta, love Neemias Queta from his time with the Sacramento Kings. 17 points, 7 for 8 from the field, and 8 rebounds. He looked great. So, Boston, team to look out for in the East if they're going to stay similar to where they were last year, if they're going to fall down the standings. This Philadelphia 76ers team, if Joel Embiid gets healthy, they could jump up the standings. So, next up, Chicago Bulls versus the Detroit Pistons. 115-111 victory for the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls just did a little bit. They did enough to win this game. Matas looked really good. 21 points on 7 for 12 shooting. Biggest takeaway from this game that I saw, Detroit Pistons with no Marcus Sasser right now, no Jaden Ivey right now. Just Cade Cunningham being a lead ball handler. And when he's off the court, this team really struggled to move the ball and score points. So hopefully Marcus Sasser, once he gets back, I believe he's just day-to-day right now. But they need a backup point guard, and you saw they really missed having a Dennis Schroeder on the court for this game. Next up, we had a 128-122 victory for the Memphis Grizzlies over the New Orleans Pelicans. This was one of the best and most entertaining games to watch from the Wednesday night slate. Obviously, you had the Pelicans, Zion, 27 points, Herb Jones, 17 points. Trey Murphy struggled this game, but Jeremiah Fears off the bench, 17 points, 7 for 10 shooting. And then the Memphis Grizzlies, they just locked in down the stretch. They had 12 blocks as a team and 5 steals, so 17 stocks in this game. Cedric Coward might have been the steal of the draft. I think he is somebody that you're really going to have to watch out for this year if you're interested in this rookie class. Obviously, you got the top-end talent with Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper. But some of these guys that fell to the later lottery and even outside of the lottery, like Cedric Coward, they're going to be major contributors to their team. We saw this Memphis Grizzlies team last year. Jalen Wells, a second-round pick, was a huge contributor to this team and why they made the play-in. Cedric Coward is going to do the exact same thing. 14 points, 5 for 5 from the field, and 2 steals and a block. John Morant iced the game with a couple middies. Great showing for the Memphis Grizzlies and the New Orleans Pelicans, and it got a little heated. First game of the season got a little heated for this Memphis Grizzlies team. Obviously with Jordan Poole getting pushed to the ground by KCP and then them having some choice words for each other, but I like the competitiveness already in this NBA season. Next up, the Milwaukee Bucks versus their good pal Chris Middleton win not the San Antonio Spurs, with the Washington Wizards. Bucks get a 133-120 victory over the Washington Wizards. Giannis did his thing. Bench unit, Kyle Kuzma came off the bench, had 12 points. But this Wizards team, they surprised me a little bit. They stuck in with this Milwaukee Bucks team. I think Chris Middleton, great vet. CJ McCollum struggled this game, so if he was getting going a little bit more, could have been a closer game down the stretch. Cam Whitmore looked really good off the bench with 14 points. And Trey Johnson, their rookie, 16 points off the bench, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block on 5 for 11 shooting, 4 for 8 from the three-point line. Really solid showing for the young guys of this Washington Wizards team. Obviously, Alex Sarr struggled, but when you're going against Miles Turner and Giannis Antetokounmpo, I kind of expect a second-year guy to struggle, but that is enough for this Milwaukee Bucks team. Next up, probably the biggest and most surprising game of the night was this 129-108 victory for the Utah Jazz over the Los Angeles Clippers. And this Utah Jazz team, they started a weirder lineup. Obviously, Keontae George, Walker Kessler, Kyle Filipowski, Lauri Markkanen, and Svi Mykhailiuk was their starting lineup. Svi Mykhailiuk getting the start over guys like Bryce Sensabaugh, Walter Clayton Jr. Ace Bailey, I believe, was dealing with a sickness this game. Just let me make sure. I believe he was dealing with a sickness. That's why he only played 20 minutes, and he didn't look great in the 20 minutes. 2 points, 4 rebounds, 1 for 5 shooting. But this huge lineup that the Utah Jazz came out with really disrupted any sort of rhythm that the Los Angeles Clippers could get into. They forced 11 steals, and as a team, the Los Angeles Clippers had 15 turnovers. Kawhi Leonard struggled. James Harden struggled. Bradley Beal struggled. Nobody outside of John Collins and Brook Lopez off the bench looked good for this Los Angeles Clippers team in Game 1. Obviously, like I said, take everything what I'm saying with a grain of salt. It's from the first game of the season. But this Clippers team, I was high on them. If they're struggling against a Utah Jazz team that doesn't have the top-end talent like they do, could be something to watch out for. Next up, my favorite game of the night, and it was partially just because this dude absolutely just went crazy. The San Antonio Spurs with a 125-92 victory over the Dallas Mavericks. Victor Wembanyama, 40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks and a steal. Stephon Castle, 22 points. I mean, Victor Wembanyama just looked unguardable and unstoppable this night. So that is really all you have to know. Cooper Flagg struggled in this game on the offensive end. On the defensive end, I think Cooper Flagg really held his ground. I don't think he struggled mightily like you might expect. But I think Cooper Flagg is going to be okay. The Dallas Mavericks need to figure out a lineup to get a true point guard in the starting lineup alongside Cooper Flagg, because he is not a true point guard. He is a guy that needs to be set up by somebody else right now in his NBA career. Eventually, I could expect Cooper Flagg to break down people and shoot contested three-point shots. But right now, Cooper Flagg needs a true point guard on the court. And until Kyrie comes back, this Mavericks team is going to struggle on the offensive end with limited self-creation without having D'Lo or somebody else in the starting lineup. My way too early hot take for the 2025-2026 NBA season is these San Antonio Spurs are going to jump from a bottom 10 defense to a top 5 defense in the entire NBA. I think they are going to lead the NBA in stocks, steals, and rebounds every game. I think they are going to lead the league in deflections. And when you have Victor Wembanyama as your anchor, you just see everybody around him turns into free safeties in the NFL. They can just fly around the court, cause havoc, and I really think if Victor Wembanyama plays 65-plus games this year, he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year, and this San Antonio Spurs team is going to be a top 5 defense. Quickly moving on so we can cover every single game. Sacramento Kings versus the Phoenix Suns. What did you expect from the Sacramento Kings? They choked a game away. Obviously, no Domantas Sabonis, no Keegan Murray. But, again, just early, not a great start to the year for what it's going to be like for the Sacramento Kings this year. But, again, it's early. But it just was a rough game for the Sacramento Kings. Next up, Timberwolves. Portland Trailblazers, 118-114 victory for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like I said, I like this Portland Trailblazers team. I think they're going to keep it really close with a lot of teams this year. If Chauncey is their coach, obviously Tiago Splitter coming from the tree. Hopefully he can continue the same thing. But Jeremy Grant, 29 points off the bench. If they can get him back to playing like he usually was a couple years ago, when he got that big contract, that would be huge for them. Anthony Edwards, 41 point game. I mean, he's going to be an MVP caliber player this year, so excited to watch that. And then last night, we saw the Oklahoma City Thunder win their second double overtime game in the first 2 games of the season with a 141-135 victory over the Indiana Pacers. Pacers really kept it close. No Tyrese Halliburton, obviously. Miles Turner left to Milwaukee. They made it work, and I think they're going to be a super competitive team again this year. I think they might miss the playoffs. They could be a play-in team, though, I believe, just because of how competitive they are. Andrew Nembhard missed some time in this game due to an injury, so hopefully that isn't too long. But Benedict Mathurin showed what he has to do to get paid this year. And then the Golden State Warriors with a 137-131 victory over the Denver Nuggets. Biggest thing from that game, I was happy. Obviously, it went into overtime. I was happy to see that Aaron Gordon got his 50-point game. I don't know. He just feels like a guy that deserves a 50-point game for everything that he went through last year with the injuries and stuff dealing with his brother passing away. So, happy to see that Aaron Gordon in his first game this year drops a 50-point game, and I'm really excited to see what this Denver Nuggets team is going to do. Cam Johnson struggled in this game, but Tim Hardaway Jr. looked good. Bruce Brown struggled a little bit. Peyton Watson struggled. Jonas was very good. Christian Brown struggled, so obviously still early, but I really like this team. I really like what they're going to do in the Western Conference this year. For the Warriors, Steph Curry woke up in the fourth quarter, end of third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, and in overtime, Steph Curry really propelled this Golden State Warriors team to a victory. Jonathan Kuminga, again, a really solid game. Then Jimmy Butler, 21 points, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. I mean, this is going to be a fun Warriors team to watch. I mean, they were a top defensive team last year once they traded for Jimmy Butler. I think that might fall a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if it stays where it is. Also, going back to the Oklahoma City Thunder game, can't shy over the fact that we had 2 50-point games last night, and it started off with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander having 55. Now, obviously, went to double overtime, but 55-point game is a 55-point game, no matter how you get it. And I already hate that as NBA fans, we are already complaining about free throws. Free throws are a part of basketball, man. Like, professional scorers, they get to the free throw line. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Carmelo Anthony, James Harden, all those guys get to the free throw line. Stop complaining. It's just basketball. Like, complaining about free throws is such a pointless thing to do because these refs can't hear you. They don't care what you have to say. Just watch basketball, and at the end of the day, it might be a little bit less, like, it might be a little bit more boring to watch 26 free throws out of one guy. But we can't cherry pick it to certain people. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not the only person that shoots free throws. He is not the only person that quote-unquote flops. He is just very smart with his movements, his embellishments of bumps that he gets, and he does what he needs to do to get to the free throw line. At the end of the day, the easiest shot in basketball is an uncontested free throw. And he gets to the line, gets free throws, and people just always want to clown and complain about it. So that's my take. Those have been all the games. Now we're going to cover the top 5 rookie debuts for the 2025-2026 season in the final couple minutes we have. Obviously, number 1 was the guy. It was VJ Edgecombe. 34 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. I mean, he was breaking rookie debut records. I mean, there's not much else you could ask for from a guy in his rookie debut. So, VJ Edgecombe was obviously number 1. I don't think there's any way you could argue or dispute it, in my opinion. Next up at the number 2 for the top 5 debuts, I had Trey Johnson, who had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block, 46% from the field, 50% from the three-point line. Obviously, he had 4 turnovers, which you don't want to see. But Trey Johnson looked amazing off the bench for this Washington Wizards team. I expect him to be in the starting lineup. Obviously, their first game of the season, kind of tweaking stuff, just running some lineups out there to see what goes on. But I really like Trey Johnson. I think he could be in conversation for Rookie of the Year. I'm not saying that he's going to win it. I think Cooper Flagg is still going to win it. And if not Cooper Flagg, I think it'll be Dylan Harper. But I think Trey Johnson could be top 5 in Rookie of the Year voting this year. Next up at the 3rd spot, I had Cedric Coward. I already spoke a lot on Cedric Coward, but in your rookie debut in the NBA, you had 14 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and a block. And you shot 100% from the field and 100% from the free throw line. That is an incredible debut, and I think there's a possibility he could have been number 2 on this list. I just respected Trey Johnson a little bit more and what he was doing. But Cedric Coward, he already fits in with this Memphis Grizzlies culture and what they want him to do. He fits exactly and perfectly into that role of what they want as a guy coming off the bench, an older rookie going to come in and just give a ton of effort, ton of energy, get involved on the defensive end, and make life difficult for players, and then just be efficient on the offensive end. That's all they asked for. So Cedric Coward was number 3. At number 4, I had the guy that they competed against in this game, and Jeremiah Fears. 17 points, 2 assists, 70% from the field, 2 turnovers. 70% from the field was for Jeremiah Fears, who is a smaller guard in his first game playing a very good defensive team in the Memphis Grizzlies, is an incredible debut. And I think it goes a little overlooked because obviously he came off the bench and the Pelicans lost. But I really think Jeremiah Fears had a top 5 debut in the NBA this season. So that's why he's at the number 4 spot. And then at the number 5 spot, I have Yegor Demon. Now, obviously, like I said, I was going to talk a little bit about Yegor Demon. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, 67% from the field and from the three-point line with 2 turnovers. He shot the ball the best out of anybody from the three-point line, outside of Knipple, who was tied with him. But he was just impactful everywhere he was. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, obviously. But Yegor Demon coming in, this Brooklyn Nets team they have 2 very ball-dominant players and not a lot of playmaking. And he still found a way to get up 14 points and get up 6 shots and make 4 of them. If he can be efficient this year, he's going to have a great year. And I think the playmaking is going to come with, obviously, Yegor Demon. Now, I don't think he's going to have crazy assist numbers because Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. like to get their stuff off the bounce a lot. So I think his assist numbers aren't going to be as high as you would expect from the playmaker that is Yegor Demon. But I really liked his debut. Now for the honorable mentions, I put Knipple, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 67% from the field, and 75% from the three-point line, where after he shot about 27, or it might have even been lower than that, in preseason. So great bounce-back game from preseason, and he looked good. He looked really good next to LaMelo Ball, and he was getting to his spots. He was running down the court, playing with energy. So great rookie debut from Knipple. And then I put Dylan Harper, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 50% from the field, 50% for the three-point line, 4 turnovers. Dylan Harper, he didn't make my list because I think his 4 turnovers were really a lot of him just being a little bit nervous, and that's what you expect from a guy that is in his rookie debut. But I think he could have been a little bit cleaner throughout this game. He was a little sloppy, so that's why he made it in the honorable mentions list. And then lastly, people want to exaggerate the Cooper Flagg debut and say that it's terrible. 10 points, 10 rebounds, and a steal was a really good debut. Now, obviously, the 31% from the field and 3 turnovers is not great at all, but he has nobody else to make a play for him. Anthony Davis is not a playmaker. Najee Marshall, PJ Washington, everybody that he was on the court with are not playmakers. And they were expecting him to handle the playmaking duties, be a point guard, which he's never been in his career. So I think Cooper Flagg had a really good rookie debut. He looked good on the defensive end, but struggled on the offensive end. That's why he made the honorable mentions. I hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, amazing start to the NBA season. We'll be back next week on Friday once again. This has been Beyond the Scoreboard, and I'm your host, Michael Lyons.